Hey everyone, just got a quick little video of games I've played this year. Thought I'd do one just because I've been branching out over the past couple of years, and I thought showing games that I played this year would do a pretty good job of showing that. I initially started this mid-2018, but it makes the list because I completed it in 2019. Relative to Ocarina of Time, the sequel delivers a brief and concise game that manages to build on and expand upon the critically acclaimed title. Although the puzzles are similar, the implementation of equipable tools as masks makes gameplay that much more enjoyable. While exploring the Great Bay, I noticed a minigame that appeared to require the boomerang, an item I expected to acquire alongside the hookshot. My suspicions were put to an end after I acquired the Zora mask and learned the correct positioning to break all the pots. AG Aonuma's willingness to embrace darker themes also made for some truly heartwarming NPC interactions. Upon my arrival in the Akana Valley, I ventured into the music box-shaped home in an attempt to unearth the strange girl's secret. Instinctively, I tried to save the girl from her unwell father by attacking him, only to be kicked out. My second attempt prompted me to think differently, and instead try to help the man. Playing the hero means helping people first and foremost, only slaying monsters when necessary. Believe it or not, my entry point into the Legend of Zelda franchise, and probably my favorite game, tied with Wind Waker. I first played the game nearly 10 years ago, but put it down because of the tedious stealth demanded from the Temple of the Ocean King. Having become more patient, I returned to the game on a new save file and played it all the way through. While the dungeons were fairly easy and the story not particularly engaging, I enjoyed the character dynamic between Celia and Linebeck because it reminded me of my parents when I was young. Beating this once impossible game has given me the motivation to visit other titles like Spirit Tracks. Deemed an honorary Zelda title by some, I found the gameplay, traversal in particular, very engaging. Being able to climb and swing from vines or even draw lily pads to cross water was always satisfying because they provided a sense of freedom. The application of tools through the use of ink allows for both fluid controls and an overworld where Zelda-esque items are clearly taken into consideration. Boy, Princess Spinner. Combat was my least favorite part of the game, as drawing and placing ink symbols disrupts the intensity because the game is essentially in pause mode. Puzzles weren't particularly difficult, but the elemental approach makes for a solid choice, as Okami wasn't a previously existing franchise with familiar puzzles. Receiving tons of praise from JRPG fans for its elaborate battle system, even being considered one of the best Switch games, I decided to try it out. My JRPG resume consisted only of Pokemon, meaning that I lacked a lot of experience and had to play the second half of the game on easy mode. As my first non-Pokemon venture, I found the presence of voice acting quite charming, especially in characters like Nia, who took the appearance of a small cat lady, but sounded like a middle-aged Welsh lady. Without getting into spoilers, Nia's sense of realism makes her a fantastic foil for the optimistic, idealist Rex. As far as complaints, I would have preferred a map of the entire world to ease navigation, and would have appreciated tutorials that were accessible at all points of the game, i.e. Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. Also, the soundtrack was amazing. I decided to play this instead of Oracle of Ages after seeing the Nintendo Direct in February. Similar to what I did in Let's Go, I had the intent of playing the Game Boy version before the remake. As I have yet to play it on Switch, I'll focus on Link's Awakening DX on the 3DS Virtual Console. Relative to 3D titles, 2D Zelda games often have forgettable dungeons in that they require you to push blocks, activate switches, or blast walls. Link's Awakening is honestly no exception. However, I don't see that as a negative. For example, I only beat Minish Cap a little over 2 years ago, but I can probably replay the game and solve dungeons and puzzles, almost as if they were brand new, leading to more playtime than expected. I do credit the game for shifting the franchise to portable play, and doing so outside of Hyrule. Additionally, I look forward to the enhanced visuals and soundtrack of the remake. I bought this on a whim, in part because Year of the Dragon was one of the first games I had ever played, with the PS1 being my first console. My decision to skip Sword and Shield and wait for their sequels led me to consider buying Spyro, while my fond memories of skateboard challenges did the rest of the convincing. Gliding across far gaps to collect eggs and gems and torching baddies gave me more to look forward to in the remake. From what I recall of the original version, the remake is quite faithful, even down to its clunky controls which are designed for a D-pad rather than analog sticks. This led to dated controls that are most apparent when playing as Agent 9, who relies on a blaster to attack. Toaster Bob seemed to be aware of these issues because they implemented Z-targeting to adjust the camera, but did little to fix other things such as limited turning while charging, as well as the collapse of a staircase in a particular level that's triggered by distance as opposed to height and distance. Minor nitpicks aside, I enjoyed the enhanced visuals and relived a significant part of my early childhood. The level design is somewhat like Mario Odyssey in that all eggs can be found in one go. All things considered, I was amazed at how easily I was able to get back into the swing of things when playing this game. I heard about this game last December when it was nominated for Game of the Year, but decided not to play it until recently. Around Chapter 3, I noticed a spike in difficulty that reinforced the popular opinion that the game was both tedious and required immense precision. The soundtrack and level design complement each other incredibly well, building tension as the difficulty ramps up. I appreciate the puzzle-solving element of the game as it adds another layer to the platforming experience. The placement and introduction of power-ups require you to first figure out how to make it to the next room, then perfect the strategy to actually do so. The generous checkpoint system makes the game much more fair without sacrificing difficulty or the sense of accomplishment. The decision to employ small stages allows for bite-sized play sessions, perfect for a game that frustrates you and has you crawling back 10 minutes later. I've gotta admit, playing it on Switch was probably one of my best decisions this year, as the ability to play it portably with music or a podcast in the background really fit the nature of the game. I'd recommend it to anyone looking for a good challenge, as every bit of progression results in a grand sense of achievement. So yeah, that's all the games I've played this year. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know. I might do more videos like this based on the feedback. And have a nice new year.